Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel, Travis Brown Coaching. Today's vlog is all about marathon. So we're gonna document the journey up to Manchester Marathon, which is obviously happening tomorrow. But in this video, we're also gonna give you tips on how to prepare best for your marathon. So whether that's training up to it, whether it's the tips the night before, the day before, whether it's the warm up in the morning, making sure you've done all your kit, we're gonna make sure that by the end of this video, you'll be more prepared for your longest runs, your race events, and basically put you in control so you can enjoy the day without being stressed out of your mind, both when it comes down to performance and organization. So we're obviously heading over to the train station now, where we will then be going up to Manchester this afternoon, so Saturday, and follow me. We will give you tips, tricks, and show you how to enjoy your race experience as well. So before I wanted to get into the tips and the tricks and everything that we've gone through in this prep, I think it is important to give some context about what we're doing. So this is actually the third marathon I've done. Now the first one was a lockdown marathon with a friend. We trained for about 6 weeks and then the event actually got cancelled. So we sort of just decided we were gonna do it anyway. Then the second one we didn't train for, that was in Budapest. That was a really stupid idea and we won about 4 hours. So previous PB is 3:46 and we're heading to Manchester to try and get to about 3:10, 3:15. So it's gonna be a big ask. That's an average of around 4:30 mins per kilometre. So it's gonna be a bit of a stretch. So what we've done in the lead up to it is this. So we've done about 7 or 8 weeks of proper prep here, coming off the back of the hyroxes. So we've put in a good shift. The longest run we've done to date is 30 kilometres. So there's still a 12-kilometre difference that we're going to need to make up. And I'm hoping that it's going to take us about an hour. And that should stand us about right, just under. So the plan here is to load up today. So we're heading up to Manchester nice and early. We should arrive around 3:30. And we're going to get some food in, the god old trusty Nando's, for some spicy rice and chips, and obviously a wrap because standard order. Let me know your order in the comments, by the way, because carbs. So just to touch on that, over the last few days, so 3 days before the event, into today, we have been prioritizing our carb loading. So we're at about 6 grams of carbohydrate per kilo of body weight. So for me, that's about 450 grams of carbs, which has been fucking delightful. Although it's weird because in a taper week, it can feel a bit tricky. It can feel a bit demanding. It can feel a bit lethargic, bloaty, and a little bit uncomfortable and almost counterproductive. So, but we've not taken or not been using any fuel too much. We've been nice and chilled and we're putting more fuel in, which means we're gonna have more to use tomorrow, which means we don't have to bulk up on too much food tomorrow morning, which means we're gonna stay relatively light, relatively processed, and means that we should have a good run. So, what have we been doing in the build up to our marathon? So for a lot of people that are doing a marathon prep, they'll find that they need to do around about 12 to 16 weeks. Now, I'm gonna be honest, if you're someone that can run 10, 15K fairly comfortably, then if you're looking to complete a marathon over time, then it's gonna be a fairly easy training prep. It's all about getting the volume in and of course, increasing the distance. Now, for most people that run a marathon, and realistically myself included, it's more of an aim to complete than compete. So if that's the case, it's all about getting in those long, steady, slow duration runs. So building up the distance, going through the steady phases, running 2 to 3 times a week, because most people cannot handle the volume of these 4, 5, 6 days a week training programs. I know I certainly can't. So making sure you're in a position to be able to handle the volume that's increasing, and ultimately on the day, you know you're gonna get some speed because you're gonna taper into the week. You're gonna take some stress out of the body. So a taper is the process of basically removing the volume, the tiredness, the tightness from your legs. So you just start to bring down the distance and the intensity and the tempo in that last week. And ultimately you're gonna start to fuel up, which means you're gonna be putting carbs in, which you've already touched on earlier today. Then what happens is, because like I said, you've stopped putting, or you've started putting more food and fuel in, but you've started less output. So you've stopped putting as much out. You're gonna feel great. And then on the day, you cannot underestimate how important the crowd, the atmosphere, the pacers, and just that during the training loading goes. So that's what we've been doing training wise. Nutrition wise, we've been in a fairly steady place. For anyone that is watching this back, you may not remember, but for anyone that's watching it early doors, we were meant to be going to Italy last week, so a week today. And obviously Beth had an accident, so that never actually materialized. And it's been a pretty torrid and terrible week for her specifically. But running back and forth to the hospital, a bit of hospital food, lack of prep, quite a lot of stress that I've honestly not handled very well, has meant that my week leading into the marathon has not been optimal. Like, the nutrition's not been as good. I've been overeating, I've been eating snacks. We've been sat on the hospital bed with her, keeping her company and just, you know, trying to keep real spirits high. But ultimately it means training and nutrition has not been on point. Nutrition. So what we're going to do every morning before a race, this is what we go through. So I've got 1 litre bottle here, which is not ideal. I wanted a 1.5. So we'll be having that with a couple of electrolytes. So we'll have 2 tablets in the water, 1 litre. We'll fill that up. We'll have 1.5 litres before run. Now, the aim of the game is we start at 9:20 tomorrow. I'll try and have that water locked and loaded, tucked away before about 8 o'clock. So that I can get a wee done before and obviously get all that out of my system, so I'm not having to stop for a week, because that's going to derail your race. Then, same as this, so we normally take in about 100 to 150 grams of carbs in the morning prior to race day. So we've got 2 of these bad boys. Obviously we're on travel. If I was at home, it'd probably be more Cocoa Pops, but you know, I didn't have a bowl, didn't want to buy the milk. So we'll have 2 of those in the morning to set off before we go. So again, making sure that you get to the toilet and do all those habits before is going to be really important. I have fallen foul of that before, and it's a tricky situation to find you in. So we're going to get those in at about 7 o'clock. We race at 9:20, so they'll get a chance to digest. And then we'll take a banana with us, which we'll put down as just before we start, so around about the 9 o'clock mark. So that's the pre-race nutrition strategy. Of course, I wouldn't be a PT about it. We'll have a little bit of a sponsor of Monster as well, because that's what we do. And then pre-race nutrition. So something I've struggled with before is having too many gels or not enough gels and finding my energy deplete. So what we're doing this time is we're going to go for a different strategy. So we've got 3 gels that we brought with you. Just your bog standard SIS energy gels. We've got 22 grams of carbs there per serving. The aim of the game is we're going to take on about 20 to 25 grams of carbs per half an hour of the race, actually. So we've got 3 of those. So there's your 75 grams. We've got 2 squares bars, which are coming in hot for us, and they're going to keep us nice and fueled. So they're about 30 grams of carbs as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go gel, bar, gel, bar, gel. And then I'm an absolute chronic sufferer of cramp. So we've got the electrolytes, salt tablets as well. So we're going to have a couple of those throughout the race. We'll probably get a couple in just as we start to sort of premeditate the cramp that will come in my calves, if I'm honest. And then as soon as we start to feel it lock and load around about the half marathon point, we'll have some. And then, yeah, when it starts to kick in, we'll have some more there as well. So that's what we do. So Saturday night, I've eaten, I've fueled, I've had my carbs, 450 grams of carbs today, locked and loaded again, getting that in the stomach so that it's got a good time to process. So it is now 5 to 7 of the evening. The alarm's going to be going off at around about 6. So we are going to get cozy, comfortable. I'm actually going to do a little bit of work tonight just to keep the mind busy. And I will see you all in the morning. The morning of the marathon, and we have been at it this morning. So we've been up, we've had breakfast, as you saw, 2 porridge pots, and we'll be having a banana just before race day. We've been sat around trying to make sure we empty the bowels, because like I said before, it's a huge thing, and we've been nice and chilled. So we are about to leave the room, head down to the event. We're going to jump on the tram, get some little bit of steps in, get the body moving, and then when we get there, it's a bag drop, and then into the start area, the warm-up area and stuff like that as well for a 9:20 start. So no rush, nice, loads of time, chilled, and yeah, let's go get it. We're just getting started. A couple of KMs in, nearly 3. I should be nearly finished, I think. But apparently we're doing a marathon today, so let's see what happens. Mile 18, sticking to the plan, sticking with paces, It's hard now. I'm hoping to feel a bit better. Someone might say this is the wall, I'm not really sure. Just shit, all of it.
Highlight of Manchester in the background. What a brilliant, brilliant picture for so many athletes. Elsa all the way from Fife as well. A Fifer. Is there a cricket link there?
And just like that, the Manchester Marathon is done and dusted. So what an amazing day out it was. We finished in a great time, 3 hours 11. So, you know, if I could summarize that feeling, was just unbelievable to finish. You know, you get to finish right outside the Old Trafford cricket ground, which was great. And the atmosphere was amazing all the way around. So like such a class event for everyone to do. You know, I started off really strong. I stuck with my paces the whole way. It felt like almost like every time that he picked his foot up, I placed my foot down where his foot went or left. And that was really empowering. You know, we did that for about 19 miles where I just stuck with them. And, you know, for the first 13 miles, I was cruising really. Like I felt really strong, really positive, really good. And then the pace obviously dropped off around that mile 18 when it kind of felt a bit dark. So I always hit the wall at mile 18. That's where I felt it before, and I've got about a 4 mile window that getting through to mile 22, 23, life can feel a lot better. So something for me that I was super chuffed with is I managed my body and my physique and my mind in a way that meant that I actually didn't fully cramp for the first time ever at that distance. I was just able to keep running, keep plodding, and slow down my pace. And I knew that slowing down was far more beneficial to me than it was to stop and have to walk and run. So that's what we managed, and that was awesome. So I'll give you a little bit of an overview of kind of the strategy we employed yesterday. And we did kind of touch on it already, but you know, yesterday was a really good opportunity for me to get my food in early. So my race wave started at 9:20. I was eating breakfast at around 6, so about 3 hours before, in order to allow that to, you know, literally pass through. And it worked to a T, to the point where I went to the toilet before I went to the hotel and again before I started racing. That sounds disgusting, but it's something that if you've never done a long run, it can and will impact you at some point, and I've fallen foul of it before as well. So that's going to be really important. I took 2 litres of water in the body before, and again, with enough time to make sure I was going to get it out of the system, but obviously really nice and hydrated before we started running. Got over there in plenty of time, had a great time, like in taking in the atmosphere, getting myself prepped and ready. And that was it. It was go time. You know, that over 20,000 people completed the Manchester Marathon yesterday, which was amazing to be a part of, and be around great people. And, you know, actually it's a real community feeling. So again, was amazing. And then, like I say, the first 13 miles felt like a dream. They felt I was in comfortable cruise control. Every 30 minutes I was taking on food. So I started off in the first 30 minutes, I took on a squares bar. Got some lovely pictures of me chomping down that. Then after that, in an hour in, it was down to the an energy gel. And then again, at an hour and a half, it was an energy gel, which was just coming up to the half marathon mark. At 2 hours, I took in another squares bar, 2.5 hours, an energy gel. And then I actually did have quite a few energy gels that were given out by the marathon stewards and stuff at the end, where they give out the water. And then I was just taking water from every station. I lost a lot of salt yesterday to the point where it's still left on my skin. So replacing that with some salt chews as well was amazing. So yeah, like a real class event. The training plan and everything that we put together, it just went to a T. I didn't quite finish with the negative splits where I sped up at the end as I wanted, but overall I'm splitting hairs. Like, what an absolute journey, what a race. And it was great to share it with you. That's what we do in the lead up. Now, like I say, if you're looking to take on a marathon, it's really important that you do have a training plan and program. If you don't know how to set one up, then obviously just drop a comment below or let me know, and we'll work together in order to create you a personalized plan that actually helps you without basically running you into the ground and making you give up on all your other goals.